Don't forget to keep checking out the link down in the description, as long as the links to my Twitter and Tumblr, specifically to help the Black Lives Matter movement, but to also keep track of other movements and things that are happening right now. The world is kind of on fire. So if I'm retweeting or reblogging any GoFundMes, any like funds towards Planned Parenthood, anything like that, please just, if you can't donate, please boost them. We gotta do what we can because, oh my god, the world is on fire. Hello Friendzies, welcome back to my channel. Now, I'm sure you can tell by the title that this is another episode of the Serious series, and in this episode we are talking about how easy access porn is. And this is another video where if I've said it once, I've said it a million times. I probably should have scripted it, and it's all coming from personal experience because the Serious series is kind of my take on internet safety, especially for younger people, but this is one that I didn't really do any research for, which I probably should have, so it's mainly going to be about personal experience, and how easy access porn has, like, affected me and affected my internet usage, and maybe in that it'll be some tips and tricks. Even if I can't offer advice in this one like I have in the other videos, it hopefully, like I said, my experiences will maybe be able to help. Now, I want to preface this too because I think most of the following here on YouTube is younger people. I don't know about other social medias. I think Twitter is mainly people my age, but I know on YouTube that it is a mainly like younger demographic. Please keep in mind that when I was growing up with the internet, I was born in 1996, so all of my growing up and internet access was the early 2000s and the early 2010s. I graduated high school in 2014, so that makes me feel extra old, but realistically I kind of am in like the sense of technology. I'm an old lady. So growing up we had two computers because my brother bought his own. But anyway, we had one family computer that my other brother, me, and my mom all used. And we each had a different account, like on the computer. So like obviously if you downloaded something, it would kind of go to the other accounts and they could delete it off of theirs. But it was still something that could happen. Now, it's not like I ever downloaded anything because my oldest brother worked with a computer, so I was kind of smart and figured stuff out. But it was in the sense of like ads off to the side of certain websites where a lot of the, I bit my tongue, which a lot of the websites I went on weren't 100% secure. Like obviously I went on Webkins, that one's pretty secure. There's not really a lot of ads. You know, a lot of Sims, Wizards 101, those were safer because they didn't have ads off to the side, but they were, you know, I don't even remember what it was called because I was thinking about this the other day. There were plenty of websites where it had, like, you would go on the website and there were different game options you could click. Like, I know an example is Girl Go Game. I don't know if anybody still plays that. I know Vixella still does sometimes. But it was a lot of websites like that. Once I kind of, like, moved on from specifically games on disc to, you know, games on the internet that my friends shared with me. So there's a lot of websites like that, and those websites have the potential to have, you know, ads at the top and the sides. And that was, again, early 2000s, so a lot of, like, RuneScape and things like that. A lot of games like that were on the rise. So it was easy to put ads out on the sides at that time just because I don't think anybody really thought about, like, the marketing and, like, keeping the websites very just them. So it was easy to advertise other things. And then obviously a lot of online games that are a thing are in the outfits. It's always the female character in the chainmail that literally just covers her nipples and like just covers her vag. Not that that's porn, but that is a step in that direction. And the people who make those games and the people who make those advertisers know it. Advertisers, advertisements. Those people know that that is a step in that direction. And then that's just it. You get, especially back then, especially in the early 2000s with like family desktop computers, it was very easy to get the pop-ups in the emails. And I was given internet access at a young age. I'm not saying it's anybody's fault. I'm not saying it was a good or bad thing. I'm just saying I was given internet access at a very young age and I was dumb as a child. So I definitely opened spam emails and clicked on exciting things. And at one point I was like kind of sort of trying to learn coding and like give myself, does anybody remember from that time period with electronics technology where you could go on certain websites and make your mouse, instead of the boring computer mouse, you could get like glitter and sparkles and stuff. You could get it to shape like a flower. I definitely tried to go on websites like that, but because I didn't know correctly how to do that, I always ended up getting a virus. And has anybody else noticed that back in the day, a lot of the viruses, not all of them, but a good chunk of the viruses back in the day was porn. I don't know if it still happens now because I'm obviously very safe and try to be as careful as I can about different things on my computer, but did anybody else notice that a lot of those advertisements were porn? Did anybody else have, I said this in another video, I wasn't a kid that did like coding and did like a lot of the like older gaming. What game did I like give an example of? I didn't do coding and I wasn't like into certain things, but there was a lot of porn in my like early like teenhood on the internet because that was available, and you're curious as a teenager, and when you hit puberty sometimes you get horny as a teenager, so you delve into that, and the deeper you delve, the more dangerous it can be for young people. I don't know what measures can be taken to help young people to try and prevent that, because you can say restricted internet access, but then the world we live in and the way technology so revolves around most of what we do as humans, you can only restrict it to a certain point, and there's always access to things like that because of the way the internet works and the way companies work and the way the porn industry works. And then there's the side of it where I don't want to shame sex workers. I don't want to tell anybody, you know, to shame anybody in particular or tell you, like, shame your internet exploration. It's just that there's a lot of not good information being spread. There's not a lot of great video that you can find. A lot of the early stuff that I found was very violent, I guess you could use the word. Not necessarily that it was like that side of kink necessarily. I'm part of the kink community. I'm not trying to sit here and shame anybody in particular. It wasn't violent kind of kink, but it was violent footage. It was to a 13-year-old who stumbled upon this website because I was looking up how to watch like dubbed or subbed Naruto. You know, when you find a sketchy website and you click it and it takes you there because it says, you know, like free video, so you go. For somebody at that age, it is a very like violent kind of shock factor situation to end up on a website that shows you porn when you were looking for anime, or you were looking for a TV show that you vaguely remember and you found out it costs money, so you're trying to find it for free. I did that a lot with Crashbox. I was trying to hunt Crashbox down for years and years, especially in middle school when I would bring it up and my friends didn't know what I was talking about. I was trying to look it up and find somewhere that we could all watch it without having to pay for it. It's available on Amazon on like the HBO channel, I guess we're calling it, but it costs money. And I was like 12, 13 and didn't have money. So, and you know, you find porn instead. And then if you find it and it's interesting to you, you delve deeper into it, and then you risk viruses and you risk, you know, your family finding out, because I don't know if it was just me and the situation I was like in at the time, you know, overall. But I was very ashamed of it, even though I kept doing it. And then that led to other things later in life, like being ashamed to, you know what, never mind, this is going somewhere. But yeah, I was really ashamed of it for somebody who kept looking it up. And I don't know if my family ever, I feel like they probably did, because at least my brothers, if they were doing it online, they knew how to like clear their history, they knew how to be sneaky about it. I had no clue what I was doing, so I was looking it up and probably leaving the breadcrumbs to find it. So I don't know. I don't know if it's is easy now to stumble across it and be exposed to it, because I am not a young kid / teenager anymore. I have the knowledge and I have the experience to avoid those kind of things. I don't click on things when they look sketchy because I know what looks sketchy. So if you are a younger person that maybe feels comfortable talking about it, maybe not too young, maybe like 16 and up, I don't know. You know, maybe share your experience in the comments. You can message me on one of my links down below. It's interesting because I can talk about it from that time period, and I don't know if it's similar now. And I feel like maybe it's not, because that's just it. When technology evolves, the usage evolves and the knowledge evolves. But from early 2000s, you know, early 2010s, there was really not too much knowledge on how a lot of things worked. Just because you knew computers didn't mean you knew the internet. So, and then it's the whole thing with the internet is once you kind of look at something one or two times, you start getting fed more of it. So you click on a porn website once and suddenly that's all the ads you're getting, and that's all the emails you're getting, and it's ridiculous. It's crazy. I think personally, I'm sure a lot of people will agree with me, I think personally we really need to, like, the industry that over-sexualizes every little thing, which is most of the world, unfortunately, we really need to fucking dial back against that, because, ew. Take it from somebody who, you know, is sexually active and does enjoy porn every once in a while. We really need to dial it back. It's a lot, and it's a lot for young kids to be exposed to it. I don't think a lot of people talk about how it affected, I guess, millennials. I don't think a lot of people talk about how millennials were affected by being so easily exposed to porn and to, like, inappropriate adult content. And I think it fucked some of us up. I dealt with a lot of feelings of shame towards anything sexual for a really long time, and even once in a while, I will feel very shameful. And I don't know why, because I know at this point I'm comfortable with things, but I think it's kind of embedded into me to feel like I need to hide it, even though I'm 24 years old. You know? So, that was a lot, and I don't necessarily know if I talked about porn the way I originally set out to. But yeah, episode of the Serious series, we need to be careful about access to porn. And again, I don't want to say, you know, limit internet access to, like, teens and children. I don't want to say, you know, certain things, but I can't think of off the top of my head, but I know there are some solutions, like ad blockers, I guess, would be a good one to kind of helping that. I don't know what, like, individually we could do to try to limit that exposure, because I do think it needs to be limited, especially for younger kids, because again, it fucked me up to be exposed to it. Whether I thought that or not at the time, it definitely did. Whether or not that's resolved, I'm also not 100% sure, but, you know, there is lasting effects. So, yeah. That got really into it. I think this is also going to be the last episode of the Serious series for a while, until I can come up with other ideas, or you guys give me other ideas, just like last week's episode of things you didn't know were misogyny. I don't really have too much other than that, but I would like to continue these two kind of series, I guess, to talk about certain things and touch upon certain issues, because while people talk about them in passing, I feel like I don't see a lot of this on YouTube. And the thing is with YouTube, it is a mainly younger fan base, and I feel like you guys not talked to about it, because I don't want to talk at you. I want to talk with you about this, and I want you guys to understand that even though I am an adult who's like, oh, well, you know, in my experience, because I am, and that is kind of how I'm talking to you, but I want you to understand that it's from a place of wanting to help you. It's from a place of experiencing it myself and wanting to help you not have to deal with that. Everybody has to have experiences in life, you know. Some things just can't be avoided, but some things you really don't have to deal with. And if you don't have to, I don't want you to. So yeah, that was that. Please leave a like if you enjoyed, and like I said, between this video and last week's video, please leave down in the comments any other kind of situations you want me to talk about in kind of internet safety and different things you didn't know were misogyny in last week's video. So thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you in the next video. Bye! And now I'm getting all the tea from these text messages. My goodness.